screen, so he will take it from here.
Hello everyone, good evening. I haven't thought about yet if I'm going to sit or stand, so I might move around. We'll see what happens. Very happy to be here. Thanks for the invite. My name is Joonas Kylliäinen. I've been doing sales for 20 years now, and 15 years of them very seriously. I'm originally from Kouvola region. How many Finns here today? Finnish people? Almost everyone. So you're aware of the region. I was supposed to be, like many of the boys of my age, a professional hockey player. As you can see, I'm not, and I wasn't. My dad had to find that out when bills started coming in, but no paychecks. So I did like any other good failed hockey player would do. I would get into sales because I was loud and I was able to handle some people thanks to the hockey background. I wasn't into sales in the beginning at all. It was a way to make some money that I quickly figured out was necessary to live in this city. But eventually I learned to love it, and I've been then on working in different sales roles as a sales director, key account manager, marketing director, all sorts of different kind of titles in IT, in startups, in small family companies, in Fortune 500s. And then finally, 5 years ago, I started my own small sales and marketing agency called Norders. And at Norders, we try to position ourselves as a RevOps or a revenue operations agency. And that is very much how I view sales as a philosophy in general. I don't think sales itself is enough. I don't think marketing itself is enough. You need them both to succeed today in order to, first of all, even get attention. We'll be talking a lot about getting attention today, then converting attention. How do you actually make someone give you money? And then keep that attention, how you actually make someone not to try to get the money they gave you refunded, and ideally even give you more later on. And I think revenue operations, combining sales and marketing, is the key for that. Has someone here heard the term revenue operations before? Okay, that's okay. That might be the last time I also mention it today, because today we are talking about leads and sales process in general. How many of you has done sales in your past? Any kind of sales? One. What kind of sales have you done? Anyone? You, for example?
Yeah, well, currently with my own company and on my full-time job in bank.
Okay.
And then I did some sales to, I guess, like new customer applications to them.
Okay. Did you do outbound sales where you contacted customers, or did the customers come to you, or different?
Both actually, but usually they are just like leads that we when they are in contact with us, so then we talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. Boy, will be. I thought very long and hard about how much I'm going to talk about the differences between the two that traditionally would be described as inbound and outbound sales. Inbound being someone coming to you and then making the sale, and then outbound sales would be you going to the other person or to the other company and performing the sale that way. But I thought that will be more about branding and marketing, which I understood you'll have some great workshops here about. So I tried to keep this fairly generic, so this would now apply to both, no matter if you need to go and get your sales or if the sales are going to come to you. But given the situation I at least was understanding that you're in, you probably need to go and find some customers at least in the beginning. So we'll be focusing on that and discussing how to get the first, if not the money, at least the leads in the beginning. And yeah, I think that's about it. So I try not to get too, this is more of a note to myself, try not to talk about branding and marketing too much. Let's stick with the sales process, but they are very much aligned. All right. So yeah, I have a lot to say about sales, about leads, but don't just take my word. Does someone here know who Seth Godin is? He's the sales and marketing genius. Highly recommend you check him out. Many things that I say, he said them a lot better. And this is one of my favorite quotes from him, that we'll be talking a lot about finding customers, getting that hard-earned attention today. But it's really what we should be aiming for is to problem solving. What are the problems we see in the market? Given the program you're in, you probably have already discussed quite a bit about that maybe. Product market fit might be a classic term for that. But even during the sales process, we shouldn't try to find someone who's a good fit for our product. We should try to find a problem that we can match our product with. So let's say key lesson here in the beginning. Seth has been in Finland, I think, almost, if not every year, at Nordic Business Forum. He's a funny looking guy, great books. Okay, so why leads in the first place? What does come to your mind when you think about leads? What is a lead?
A tip about where to go to make a successful sale.
Yeah, that's good. Anything else? Close your eyes. What comes to your mind? Leads. It's like an English town that sounds similar to, right? Yeah. Is the actual name of the city Leeds?
It's like, yeah, the direction, like, okay, now I gotta hit that that's the right direction. Like path or vision or something like that.
That's good. This is what ChatGPT had to say about it. Potential customers, I like that. They're not customers yet. And one thing, side note, there'll be a lot of side notes tonight, but one side note is that if you get into sales, people fight about the terminology all the time. What's a lead? What's a prospect? What's a deal? What's an opportunity? But I think this sums it up pretty well the way I understand it. So it's a potential customer, someone, a person or a company, an entity, an organization that has not given you money yet. And actually you don't even know if they're a good fit to give you money. If they even have money, if they have the right time to give you money, if they even have the problem that you can solve. So it's a potential customer or individual that has shown interest. So you have that tip or a hint. And they are the very beginning of the sales process. Beside of that, then someone might say a lead is someone that they don't even know about you. So a lead could be someone that you tell me that she needs the product or service that I'm offering for. Is that a lead? If she doesn't know about me and my solution, there are very mixed feelings about that. There's no right or wrong about that. But that's also how for my business and for our clients, how I also define a lead, is someone who has shown interest. Other than it's just a contact number before that. But it might be a 50-50 call on that, on the opinion. So why leads? Why do we need them? As previously stated, it is the beginning of the sales process. So we need leads in order to get customers, to grow our business, to get revenue, to build relationships, to get more revenue. So it is really the beginning of the sales process, really, really important, and don't want to get too stuck on the terminology on it. So let's just focus on the importance of it, how to get them, how to keep them, and how to grow them. But when it comes to the sales process, technicalities of it, we'll be talking about pipeline tonight. So we need leads as something that will then move through the pipeline. So that's more of a technical aspect of it. And then we can also use leads to understand if to move in the sales process in the first place. So they can be defined as that they are or they are not part of our target audience. So if, an easy example, if you only sell to male individuals, it has to be a man for them to use your product. And if a woman is very interested in buying it, then you might, that's not a good lead, doesn't fit our target audience, it's not our ideal customer profile, not a fit. So we need leads to make money, we need leads to make the sales process work, the big picture, the technical picture. And depending on that brand and marketing of yours that you do, and I was honored to give a similar presentation on branding not too long ago, and most of my branding presentation was about building brands only through value. So more value you're able to provide to your customers, the more they tell their friends. Word of mouth is still the greatest marketing trick of all time, and the less sales you need to do. So if you can guarantee people, companies, that what you give them either gives them money, saves them money, or gets them love, that's the top 3, then you'll have no hard time getting new customers. But since me included, we're still new in the business, we need to go and approach those leads often, we need to approach those potential customers, and very often they have some obstacles that sound like, yeah, that's not what I need right now, oof, the market, it's pretty tight. Oh, that sounds interesting, but let's call me back in Q5. That's a classic sales joke, by the way. There's no Q5. Oh, that's not something I'm really interested in. I'm not sure that I trust you. And there are also very smart salespeople that say that it's really only about the trust. So once again, if you can show them, well, all your friends bought it, they're having a good time, they're making money, saving money, getting love, then it's easier to trust you. But if you don't have any references, testimonials, it's a lot harder to trust you. But it's usually one of the 5, all of the 5, it usually comes down to trust. And then we use the sales process to tackle those issues, to build that trust. How many of you know the movie Wolf of Wall Street? In that movie, he talks about the 3 levels of trust. Trust for you, trust for your product, and trust for your brand. And they all need to be at the 10 to get the sale. Not sure how trustworthy the guy himself is, but that's a tip from the movie. And that's what the sales process is also designed to do, to highlight why someone, an individual or a company wouldn't trust you, and then provide the value required for to build that trust. So they get the desire, they get the hurry, they find the money, and they have the need. How am I doing so far? My talking is clear. Good. Okay, and here's the sales process, and it's 6 parts. Since my official topic was leads only, so I'll be only going through the first 4 in detail. So we'll be working on the first 4. But lead generation, the first part, getting someone to show you interest about your product or your service. Prospecting, a fancy word for figuring out if they have the money and the potential to buy your product or service. Closing is actually make them give you money. A long way from 2 to 3. Short way from 1 to 2, pretty easy. Long way from 2 to 3. Then account management, taking care of your customer. Upsell, selling more to your customer. And number 6, the magic of word of mouth, them telling their friends, family, partners, how amazing you were. Okay, we'll be pretty stuck with these topics tonight. Okay, let me see what I've written here. Okay, lead generation comes in 4 main ways. 4 ways that we can generate create leads that I think stand out in today's world more than other ways. The number one and hands down the best is networking and referrals. Who do you know that probably might trust you the most? Your mom, dad, girlfriend, boyfriend, friends. They're your network. You go to this school, I assume, most of you at least. People in this school, people you know from this school, his friends, he seemed important. And who could already refer you? Once again, probably your parents, if no one else. And that, spoiler alert, the easiest way to get your first sales is number one. If you don't like making phone calls, send a WhatsApp. Hey, I'm doing this new thing, we have this new product, we have this new service. And second side note of the evening, a usual bad advice has been that don't offer your product or service for free. It's apparently hard to increase prices if you start low, so you should always start the pricing high. Our agency started doing web design. That was our first thing we did for money. And we did first 5 websites for free. Then we did next 5 websites for 400 euros. And that felt like, oh my God, we're gonna be rich. And this year and that was 5 years ago, and this year we've made 500,000 selling websites. So for me, the best practice of all time doing sales is to build that trust through those referrals I've been able to get. Hey, I made him a website, it created him value, and then he told his friends, and all of a sudden my services were more valuable. But I hear a lot of people coming to me like, Joonas, you're selling your stuff way too cheap. You're never going to be able to increase prices. So I don't believe in that. Might have something to do with the industry you're going in, but that's how you get referrals. You do good job. Over deliver is a great business word. The next best thing, in my opinion, this also going from best to fourth best. The second best is content marketing. So that would be you writing a book, writing an article, writing a blog, making a video, making a workshop, making some sort of content about the value your product or service creates. That would ideally include referrals already. How does it actually create value? How has it proven to create value? And then you use that content to give the people, then instead of calling them saying, hey, you're in my network, or you know my dad, you give them the piece of content, and then there are a million ways of delivering that content. But you give them that content to let them study the value you can create for them. And they're like, I might be interested in this, and then they become a lead. Next, we'll be moving into how they then turn into leads, but these are the sort of lead creation ways. Maybe like 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, when digital marketing was being born, more like 10 years ago, content was king, was a big saying. Everyone was creating content, everyone was doing blogs, and SEO was the top of thing. Now I see more of the content strategy going into social media, and the form of best performing content has changed dramatically. But one interesting thing about content is still that we see that more high quality content, bigger production content still performs very best. For example, we worked with 2 companies that were in Finnish Leijonalluola. What's that in English, the TV show? Shark Tank, thank you. And just the amount of new business they got from being, in my opinion, in a fairly silly TV show was just mind-blowing. So number 3, you can get into using TikTok algorithms, doing hacks on YouTube, working very hard on the right thumbnail there, and getting your content and community built there but we still see amazing results across the globe when it comes to if you have a Netflix reality TV show, what that makes to your brand. So content marketing is, if there would be more older people here, they would say content marketing is dead, but it's definitely not. It has just changed its format. But I think social media strategies are now booming more. We get approached every day, like how do we make TikTok work for our brand, and we need to do YouTube shorts, and I view those more as now hot tactics. There's more competition there. Not saying they're bad by any means, but just trying to sort of level the hype here is what I'm trying to do, I guess. Not to sound like a boomer. But they are obviously very closely tied together, content marketing and social media, because you need content to be on social media.
Can I have a question on this point?
Mm-hmm.
Just an opinion. What do you think about the TV commercials? Like in your opinion, are they kind of that time has ended?
The very boring answer is that it depends. We have a great client that's a car repair shop in Kouvola, our first client actually, that's still, and we spend every year like tens of thousands of euros on just a TV commercial production to be at the Hockey World Championship games, because the TV then only shows the commercial in the Kouvola region, and it's great bang for the buck. If you're starting a software company for younger people, then probably not. My credit card just got changed and my YouTube Premium got cancelled for like a second, and I almost threw like my phone on the wall, how annoyed I got to see myself to see a commercial. So I think that comes back to like understanding your ideal customer profile. I'm still mind blown how like big of the impact the Shark Tank had. And I guess a lot of people, like the pike on the websites was when it was live on TV. So there were a lot of people watching it live on TV. I didn't even know it was possible anymore. So understanding your customer, but definitely the big trends are that TV ads, OOH, out of home advertising, and then event marketing are now like the things not to do. Like you're not supposed to buy a booth anymore either. And that's the problem with, I guess, with event marketing. It's very similar to TV commercials, that you can't force someone to see your message. Whereas with social media, you can get fairly specific who is going to see or hear your message, and that is a great advantage to them. And number 4, heavily depending on the industry you're in, not least if you're in B2B or B2C, is the outreach activities. So European Union became very famous legally when they announced the GDPR. You all know what GDPR is? That's something you talk about, yep. So with the GDPR now in place, you're not allowed to contact another individual, a consumer, and tell them about your business, product, or service without their consent, right? So you're not allowed to cold call or cold email individual consumers anymore. Like back in the day, you would get all these, like, you want to buy this magazine about home decoration, phone calls. Like those now ended unless you have given permission to be on some sort of a list. How many of you are starting a consumer B2C business where you sell something to consumers and people? Oh, not all. So rest B2B, hands up. So in B2B you have a lot more freedom. GDPR is much more flexible in B2B. So within B2B communication, you're allowed to contact company representatives, so fine, like normal people, just like the consumers, but you're allowed to do outreach activities to them if it's a business related message. So if I have a school cleaning company, you're allowed to contact me and tell me about cleaning products, ecological cleaning products that I could use for my school cleaning company, but you can't call me and tell me about the home decoration magazine. So outreach activities are perhaps my favorite. We've had really great success with them with B2B companies that we work with, because then you can get super personal with them. So then you can, because we're all online today, so you can find a person on LinkedIn, you can probably find them on Facebook or Instagram, and you can know a lot about them, and you can directly call them, send them an email, send them an Instagram DM, and say, like, I know exactly what's your problem, I know what you did last summer, and offer them your product or service. And another thing that also is important to note with outreach activities, they're obviously harder to scale. So you can do a social media ad or even go viral on social media and reach millions of people. An outreach activity, there are automation tools and scaling tools for that, but it's still very far from being what you can do with social media activities. So it's waiting to.
Yeah, I have a question about the outreach and social media. We used Meta or Facebook ads in direct response on VSLs or short form to do lead gen?
Yes, but they have not performed at all as well as outreach when it comes to bang for the buck. When it comes to capturing demand from like, you're talking like driving traffic to a landing page, right? This could also be due to skills, but the direct question was if we've used them, and we have, and we just get a lot better results when it comes to outreach activities with them. Right now, I think, this is not even my opinion, Meta ads are not used as very cheap at the moment. So I think that's a reason also people are now like trying new things. We've had some really interesting results with TikTok ads, and Pinterest ads are killing it. They're like, depending obviously who's your target market, but like if whoever you're targeting on Pinterest, like 1/10 of a price, you get the same reach. And apparently people who go to Pinterest often, they're like buying something, whereas with Facebook and Instagram, we're all often just scrolling. But when you go to Pinterest, you're often like, oh, I need to decorate my home, or I need to buy a new lamp, or whatever it is that get these new makeup stuff. So that's.
To maybe give an additional comment, usually the way Pinterest works is that like you are looking for something along that line, and most of the people that have like their store link, they have their store links in like, I don't like the way that they do it, but it's sort of like in a way that you think it's the same picture that you actually want to go into and see more of an option, and then you click on it thinking it's going to give you more options, but then it actually takes you to the website, which if you were looking for a product that's similar to that, it already took you there. So it's about also like how you're going to sort of present it to the consumer. So if they're already looking for baby doll shoes, then that comes up as an option. Then by mistake you click on that thinking, oh, that's the exact baby doll shoes I was looking for.
It's genius.
There you are on this store, without them having to say, oh, this is a store, come by.
It says it in a little there.
Yeah, it's like, but you don't, like if you're just scrolling so fast, you don't really see it.
Does everyone know what Pinterest is, by the way? It's not as, yeah.
I have a follow-up question.
Please.
Or a statement more. I disagree with Facebook ads being bad, because I run an e-commerce business, and I have ads that are running profitably, consistently on Meta. And I think it's mostly about the VSL, about the direct response and the video, and how it appeals to the customer. Because Meta's algorithms are very precise within reaching your ideal customer, if you can outline it.
You have the VSL, it's part of the ad or on the landing page?
Both. We focus heavy on creative, because the Meta's algorithms are getting very strong. So it's all about the creative nowadays. And I've managed to succeed very low CPMs and CPAs just by having a very high quality ad that works as the VCL, and then the landing page just closes the customer.
That's great. What's your e-commerce business about?
Selling fashion products
Okay.
to Finland and Sweden.
Okay, cool. And you raised your hand, so it's direct to consumers.
Yes.
Are those your own brands, or do you wholesale other brands?
Own brand.
Okay, cool. Yeah, good job. And as I said, that was my personal experience. Maybe we haven't had the best luck of it. We're testing out for ourselves a few new AI ad tools, but I think that's more of a interest in seeing those tools work rather than expecting great results. But yeah, it also seemed like those tools go very heavy on like having a lot of creatives that you play around with. Cool. Any other questions about the ways to generate leads? Cool. Let's go and then how you create leads out of the ways you generated them. So 4 ways to generate leads. You can go to network, have referrals, you can use content marketing, use social media strategies, organic or paid. You can do outreach activities, and then you need to create leads out of those that you generated. And capturing leads is what he described. So you'll have a landing page, or you'll have some sort of a form, somewhere where I, as an individual or as a business, I come and say, I am interested in hearing more about your product or service. And then I give you the information you require me to do so. And capturing leads is very, very popular these days because it is automated, it's scalable, you don't need to talk to anyone, which is something we all hate. And running many of the businesses these days would be difficult if you would always have to talk with the customer every time you want to let them know about themselves. So capturing leads, the digital way, the popular way, a lot of different ways to do that in greater detail as well. Then discovering leads would be, for example, let's say you have a tourist business to help tourists in Helsinki to find a location or find something that they're interested in for money, and you have thought that you're going to generate leads on being on the street. So discovering leads would be then that you see someone who's lost and you discover this is a potential lead that I'm going to approach it. So you have discoverable facts that someone is a potential lead. Then developing leads would be that you ask everyone who comes on the street and ask if you're lost, if you would need my tourist services. Developing leads is that you would have new soda product and give it out to everyone on the street, and then maybe someone might be interested in. Discovering leads is that you point out only very thirsty looking people on the street. You can develop and discover leads also online, obviously. What we do a lot, for example, for ourselves and for our customers, so we scroll social media feeds and then we discover someone who might be interested in our product. We might have alerts that someone mentions services that we offer, and then we know they might have the pain point that we can solve. Developing leads would then be partially often content marketing strategies, and developing leads is the greatest way ever to create leads, because then you get to dictate about who your leads are going to be, and you get to position yourself in the market. And that's another topic I hope you guys get to talk about during this journey of yours, is how to create a category, how to create a market, how to stand out from the competition. Some would call it positioning, some would call it category design, but that's how you develop leads, is then that ideally, like, I have something very new, something very fresh that solves a problem that you didn't even know you have, and then you start developing leads. Whereas discovering leads is you notice an existing problem. But if you can control, please try to develop leads, because that's the way to create that blue ocean. Is blue ocean still a term we use? Is that something you've used in school? You've heard about it, not cool though?
Yeah, it's
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, I get that. I love these when I get to learn at the same time. Okay. Yeah, let's try to be original. Let's try to stand out. Competing is hard. The thing about competition is today that we don't only compete anymore against other sales and marketing agencies or other fashion brands, other soda products, but we now compete for the attention. And that is one of the, I think, biggest sales trends of 23 is that whoever has the attention wins. So building audiences, building that positioning, building that position in the market, it has become the new way to win. I think one of the most celebrated victories of this year was Barbie movie launch and how they just dominated like communication for the launch weeks. It's like everything was Barbie for like a month. And that's how you develop moviegoers. And also another third side note of the evening. Barbie movie cost 80 million to make and they spent 150 million on marketing. So that's I don't have that budget yet. All right. Another sales cliche coming up. Not all leads are created equal. So this is a quick slide, but lead itself doesn't mean anything. I'm officially in the business of I sell leads. Many of our customers, they think how valuable we are to their business is based on how many leads we get them. And I really try to break out of that. No one needs leads, we need money, we need customers. So lead itself is not valuable. We need those leads to get the pipeline moving, to make them into customers, but lead itself is not valuable. And when it comes to leads, there are also quality leads and low quality leads. So it's easy if your KPI is, we just need those leads. And this often becomes a problem when your business starts growing and you maybe have a sales director or growth director or someone who's responsible for this. This is also traditionally what marketing is getting a bad rep for. That is that they search for those leads. We just need those forms filled. We need those captured leads, but no one asks what quality they are. So I'd probably rather have one quality lead that turns into a customer than 10 low quality leads that don't turn into customers. Just a big reminder, you would be surprised how big of a problem this is in today's business world. How much I spend time every day fighting with successful business people, and let's not try to look at how many leads we got. We need that business.
Can I ask, how can you then tell what is a quality lead and what is a low quality lead?
By the end result.
Yeah. So you can't like predict.
First, by the end, well, obviously, before you have the end result, you need a hypothesis. If like, is this our ideal customer profile? Is this potential that they can give us money? And once you start getting the end result and you have started creating sales, then you can start seeing, okay, the people who usually give us money have these 5 qualities. This lead has none of them, for example. So it's probably a low quality lead.
So when you're just starting, then probably
you make a guess. In the beginning, you want all those leads so you can learn as fast as possible. But you can still, like if you sell to Finland and Sweden mostly from your e-commerce, and you get a bunch of leads from Germany and you don't offer delivery to Germany, they're low quality, very, very poor leads. But then there are also, maybe you do offer, there's a logistics option to Germany, but you're not sure if they're interested in your product. So then you start learning a bit and you see how it goes. And that's definitely a big factor on no matter what your sales process is that you need to keep learning and iterating, just unfortunately forever. That's another big mistake we see, that that companies that come to us, they're sort of looking for a silver bullet. Once we figure out that lead type, we can stop not working with anyone and we'll have this world figured out forever. But it doesn't work out that way. There's new competition coming up every week, someone else fighting for that attention, new Barbie movie coming out. No matter what it is, you need to keep learning all the time. And we have weekly meetings with all of our customers and we go through like, okay, we had all these low quality leads. Why are we having this new list of low quality leads? What does that mean? Is there some potential we haven't seen before, for example?
So basically you are suggesting that it should be throughout like again and again, like,
yeah.
or revised like constantly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because I was just wondering that, sometimes quite often you're asked like which is going to be your main customer.
Yeah.
And it's, I feel like it's actually difficult to say at this point because it also can change during the time and depending on many things. So maybe it's better to keep many door opens.
Yeah. I actually just listened to an amazing podcast that was, sorry for my French, shitting on product market fit and ideal customer profile for 2 hours and saying exactly that like you can't have an ideal customer profile for the rest of your life. But instead what we should be aiming for is constantly looking for the problem we are better to solve than anyone else. So we should be more in the problem solving business than ideal customer profile. And also it's like just look at the words. You're feeding a product into a market and then you expect that market would behave the same. Like have you seen what has happened within the last 2 years? Like the market shifts every damn week. So we constantly need to be thinking about the problem we can solve, not the product we can fit into the market.
What was the podcast? Sounds like it would be to listen.
All things Lenny, but it had Christopher Lochhead, my favorite book of all time, Play Bigger. It's the book on category design that changed Play Bigger. Has someone read it? I'm thinking if I'm going to say my favorite book or my favorite business book, probably my favorite book of all time. He uses the word fuck a lot, so if you're sensitive, don't read it. They call themselves category pirates. They're really cool.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, we were like in the first few slides, you said, or maybe you didn't say, but the slide said at least that you should not be kind of looking for consumer, but kind of that you develop the product, so to say, kind of for consumer. Or something along those lines. Now I can't like paraphrase it, but it was kind of the logic that you don't look for people to find it. Yeah, something like that. But then you find kind of the products, but for customers.
But what's here in between? Please continue.
No, you go ahead.
So what's here in between is the problem. Yeah. So you understand the customer, what their problem is, and then you can have a product. Like depending what your product or service, it might be hard to change it as well. Yeah. Like if you designed a new cosmetics line and you ordered 100,000 bottles of it, it's pretty hard to like change those 100,000 bottles you have in your warehouse. But then you find someone that has that exact problem that those 100,000 bottles can serve. But at the same time, you should be doing the world famous R&D, like how the next 100,000 or the next million that I'm going to order can be better to solve a bigger problem.
Yeah, maybe that's the kind of a better way to put it, because you just can't come up with the problem that somebody doesn't have. So you look for that customer, that person. So you look for the customer. But then if we look at the data, it shows that the target customer, as you said, or the loyal customers, is pointless stuff, because 80% are light users, who will use your product and the next time they'll choose something else and the third time something else. But the problem has to come out of something.
Yep.
So you still start with target customer, even though later on everybody says, oh, target customers.
Yeah, obviously, like you need your best guess in the beginning. And one of the biggest mysteries for myself in life is, when do you give up? This is sort of a philosophical question for everything. Like, when do you decide that my target customer was wrong? They don't have this problem. Or is there something wrong with your communication? Are the product quality is not there yet? Like, how long do you try, then you go other direction? Because also I see often a mistake I've made a lot of times that does not help you build trust is if you change your communication a lot. Like, we're all about this way of we designing the bottle, and it makes your skin this way and that way, and then next week you're totally something else. Like, that's also like where what's the right amount of like sticking to your vision, and everyone else is wrong, you're the only one who is right?
And I think marketing people get bored with the same communication always, so they want to spice it up.
Yeah. But now, I think lead generation, creating leads, that's where you have your best. I love the term best guess, because that's what it always is. You might have something that worked beforehand, like you had this target group turned out to give you money from these markets, from these demographics, they gave you money, so you create communication to create leads within that. You create social media ads, you create content, and then you put it out. And then they tell you, either through a forum, landing page, phone conversation on the street, that yes, I might be interested in what you have to offer. Not giving you any promises yet, but I might be interested. So then starts the next phase of the sales process, prospecting. And now, depending on, once again, the business you're in, then you start qualifying the leads, build trust, provide them value, help them out with any question they might have, and ideally help them make a decision to choose you. And if you do sales digitally, a good landing page will do all of these things. If you work in B2B, you might need to schedule a call with them, and have a meeting with them and ask them the most important question: do you have money? Are you allowed to use that money? Like, if you sell stuff to kids, they might say they have a lot of money, but it's not actually them who use that money. You need to target their parents as well. Or if you work in B2B and you
No, you can finish. I can ask.
or if you work in B2B, very famous is that if you talk with HR, Human Resources Department, they're always very interested in all things new, but they've never had any money in the history of the world. So you can sell all you want to HR people, but it's always the financial people who in the end need to give them the money.
Yeah, I had a question about the landing page. You mentioned that it's a good tool to kind of collect those leads. What do you think is the best way to collect the leads on the landing page?
Answer all and any of the questions they might have.
Yeah, how is it like a contact form that they're gonna give their email or?
Well, it depends on, like, if you have an e-commerce store, obviously then you want to have them give out the credit card information as well.
Yeah.
So it can go all the way into that. We see more and more across any industry. It used to be more black and white, that there were consumer businesses that would be able to get that final transaction. But now we see across all the different industries that we can really make the digital sales funnel pretty far. And that's something we currently play around with, how even in heavy industries, B2B, that sells large machines or big network contracts, can we actually make them purchase the whole thing through a series of landing pages? Mm-hmm. And often the sales process can be very complex. There can be a lot of different people involved with it. So for example, if you sell a network for a school department, so there's a lot of IT needs to be involved, the finance needs to be involved, probably the entire board is involved with it. So you might actually need several landing pages that talk about the different problems that the different people have. IT is worried that they get fired if the network doesn't work. Board gets worried that it's going to annoy them if it doesn't work. They just want to get it out of the way. The finance people worry about it's not the cheapest option, and so on. And then they all might have also a different way of qualifying themselves. So someone might have a form, and someone might even have that finance transaction involved with it. Did that make sense? I got slightly excited there.
That's simple.
Yeah, or it can be. So if you sell, like you've bought stuff online, right? Yeah, so it can be a very straightforward process. There's a simple page, you give your money, and that's the entire landing page.
But if it's like a web shop, then you actually don't collect leads, but you collect transactions that are actual customers.
Ideally, but you've also often seen on a web shop, once you start leaving without making a purchase, there might be a pop-up, like leaving already, give me your email, you get 10% next time you come back, and or if you've been on the store for long enough of a time, another pop-up comes up, like for the first order, so on. So you can digitally you can really manufacture the customer journey very well, but to sort of keep it, let's say you have a process where you won't have the transaction available. So it's just an industry that they won't purchase it online the first time they come in. Then the sort of best practice is to ask as little as necessary. All the data shows that every single new piece on the form reduces the amount that they're being filled enormously. So try to ask as little as possible. We work with a law firm here in Helsinki that sells law training services to municipalities, and we've actually had to like create extra friction on their forms because they get so many requests for them to do the training workshops. So we now started asking more stuff to make people very serious before they fill the form. So that was a first for us. But another sort of then traditional way to look at qualifying the lead and taking it forward there is that first you need to ask if they have money. Then you need to build that trust. Like, I've done this for so long and our product is so good. Look at all these features and all of the other people we've helped. Look at all these testimonials on our site and these happy people and 5-star ratings. And then highlighting the value your product or service is going to create. And more often than not, the last stage is you need to help them move forward. Remember those 5 obstacles? I don't know if this is the right time. I need to talk to my wife about the budget. And then you need to help them move forward to make a decision.
Can I ask one question about the referrals? Like I see it often on the websites, there are like feedback from the customer, especially if it is not like a product that they buy, but some kind of a big service. So I know that whoever wrote it, I don't know, was that person even, personally doing anything? How trustworthy that? Because I'm like, yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, that's a big problem these days, and Sony got caught. That's not even that many years ago that all of their like 5-star ratings for the movies were just like totally made up, just someone made them up, and that got a lot of media attention. I think a lot of like us normal people like read that and like, oh, I can't trust the reviews anymore. That's why video testimonials are very popular these days across any industries where it's a lot, I guess you can deep fake it, but more likely that's going to be a real person. And I see now a growing trend with the video testimonials also being like super raw. So it's just like someone on their like camera holding, and it's clear like bad audio and it's wind in the background. so I have great work with them, and I'm so happy, and we'll give them more money in the future. So maybe that's one way to sort of tackle that.
Yeah, I've actually seen within e-commerce and agency models, as you said, video testimonials. They're usually called UCG content, user-generated content, and it also works well in advertisements.
Yeah.
So you use the video testimonial as an ad to drive traffic to a survey, landing page, or whatever you're trying to sell.
Yeah, traditional sort of ad funnel that we've seen often is that you use the testimonials for like remarketing and retargeting. So someone didn't make a purchase, they came to your landing page, you lost them, and then you can retarget with the testimonial like, oh, you won't give me your money, but they did kind of message.
But then it's also quite interesting when it comes to social media, for example, influencers, because it's basically the same thing, but they are even paid.
Yep.
And then everybody's
That's why the normal person testimonials I think are now so fascinating and working well. But I guess ideally you want to have them both. Right? Like attention just wins. I think that's if you live with a fact tonight, like that's the way to create leads, move stuff through your sales process. So I'm sure if you look at Kim Kardashian's new nipple jerseys, like she's in front of them, but you will find like normal people being very happy with the nipple jerseys as well. So she has the whole sort of funnel covered. But yeah, they're interesting, and the influencer model is also, that's a good point, that it also sort of blurs the line what can be trusted and how real this is. That's why I think the really sort of raw testimonials are now working well. Is someone starting a software business? Maybe. That's where I feel like I see on every software as a service business website, they have like Tesla, Google, Apple as their testimonials. Like, so they have one person from those organizations who has like done the free trial, and now they say testimonial because in some small print it said somewhere like we can use your company logo.
Yeah, that's very general, and it seems kind of fake. So
Yeah.
I've seen a few companies make like really well. It's super raw. It's just like almost like as a surprise to the customer.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm being kind of asked some questions. Yeah, it was actually nice, and then you kind of, as a Finn, you kind of appreciate that honest. Kind of almost a little bit surprised, like they're not too hot, like everything was amazing. They're like, yeah, this worked well.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'd come here again.
Yeah.
That's all that you need to know. But it's harder when you go to kind of B2B software. Most of them are just like quotes.
Yeah.
So how could you kind of put this so it looks more genuine?
Well, the way we do them is we promise them attention, so we bribe them. So we have for example, a customer for ourselves, and then I just actually had a call yesterday. It's a headhunting company here in Helsinki, and we did a new brand and a new website for them. And the CEO is like an old tough motherfucker. He's like, I'm very scared of him, but I gave him a call, had a few drinks, so I was able to do it. And my pitch was that if we can make this testimonial about you, we put an ad for it on LinkedIn and on Facebook, and we promise 10,000 local CEOs will see your ad. And then he's okay with it. Then he'll do anything. So that's one, like, because they also then get the attention once we give them visibility. Yeah, the trust creation is very, very meaningful. Value providing, I think that's an evergreen one. You must be able to provide value throughout it sort of sounds cliche, everyone's talking about it, but that's, if you can't help me solve my problem, whatever it is, I'm probably not gonna go through the process. And then helping the customer, because we all have worries how to spend our money. So that's important.
Can I ask, especially in maybe B2B, but helping the customer, I understand it mean like ways to help the customer use the product and kind of taking the solution a step further for the customer, so doing a part of the customer's work for them. But how far should you go? Like, is there a risk that the customer lead is actually there just for your help and not for your actual product?
Yes, big time.
Yeah.
And you have to learn that the hard way.
Okay.
Definitely there are in any industry, there's going to be people who are happy to take advantage of you, your customer support, helping them, and that's just something we all have to try to find the balance and processes to figure out for. And in helping, I would try to put more emphasis on fighting the obstacles even. So like why would they not give us their money now? Like what is the obstacle they're facing? Do they need to, like a classic sales cliche, talk to their wife or whatever it is that, like how can we help in that?
So kind of targeted helping.
Yeah. Now it's not the right time for them. Or why would it be a better time in 30 days? Or
Well, I have an interesting thing about helping that I heard from, I think you know Alex from Mosi.
yep.
Yeah, he sells B2B services, and he also always emphasizes that he always gives out more goodwill. He works with an abundance as his cup always runneth over. And I think it just builds a lot of trust. So all the clients that end up wanting to buy from him already know and have like experienced the free info that is good, and then they take the next step. They're like very warm leads because of the online presence.
Yeah, I over delivering is the term I use, and that's one of the best business tactics ever. So always promise less than you're planning to deliver, basically. So and that's what I keep telling our creative team all the time. Like when you start a web design project, how long it's going to take? 2 months, say 3 months. Like the customer will be so happy when you do it in 2.5 months, but they'll be super mad if it's 3.2 months, right? So like over delivering, I think in life in general, is just goodwill is a good term for that. Oh, we wanted to do this in 2 months because you were such a great customer for us. And that was your evil master plan from the beginning. Good. But it all leads down to helping them make a decision, okay, give you money. Is it clear now the difference between lead and a prospect? You're ahead of most of the business people in this town. That's a conversation I fight about a lot. Well, you at least have my way now. But yeah, we don't need leads. We need to convert them into new business. Friendly reminder. Okay, time to close some sales. Understanding the customer, where they come from. Here the really beautiful famous iceberg picture is really, really helpful. We only see the tip of the iceberg every time with our customers. We don't really know what's happening in any one of our lives. In the background, we just see this not so handsome front, and understanding deeper what problems they have there, what causes them to act that way, what causes them to make or not make the purchase, what are those objections, handling them. Good landing page will cover all of them. And then surprisingly hard part. Shouldn't be that hard if you did all your due diligence well, but asking for money. That's why I think we also like digital sales funnels, because then you don't need to ask that. I've done that for 15 years and my voice still shakes every time when it's like, so are we going to sign the contract? Something funny about that. So that's why also digital sales funnels might be, maybe even for customers, they're great because they don't have to hear that shaky voice from a web store. if you read any book on closing, it's basically just going through the previous steps and stating that then this is the easy part. This is the hard part if the previous steps are not done correctly, don't understand the customer, if your landing page is not talking about the problem and the dreams of the customer, if you haven't handled the objections, then it's the hard part. Shorter slide about closing, loud and clear. So now we have a customer, someone gave us money, good times. So now we would ideally make the customer a happy customer, depending on your business. Does someone have a business that you can only have customer for one purchase activity, or could you all resell them something? You can only sell them once.
Yeah.
What do you sell?
I work as a consultant helping people find lawyers that are correct for their specific situations. And you know, if I help them find the person, then that's that. Then of course, I hope that they were happy, and if they ever have a situation again where they need someone else, perhaps that they'd return. But it does end there. And also due to the Finnish Bar Association's rules, I can't like take a slice of what they then end up paying to the lawyer.
Okay. So you have like the Tinder business problem.
Yeah.
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 So like you sort of want your customers to fail, but not really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yep. Dating apps are famous for the same thing. But the best account management, that no matter what your industry, if you have a dating app for law services, or you have a recurring direct-to-consumer business, is to get that positive referral at least. So have some you being recommended. So that's the least and maybe the most important part of a good account management, is that you manage the new business so well that they tell their buddies about it. In the beginning, are you all doing your own account management / customer service yourselves, or do we have some businesses where it's completely even another business, or it goes to somewhere else? You're all doing it yourself in the beginning, so you sell and then you deliver the service as well. I think that's great. I think that's a great way to learn the whole thing, instead of just doing the sales part and then outsourcing the production, delivery, customer service to other parties. But yeah, customer retention, keep the customer, keep them paying, or keep them being a positive referral, offer them support for the same reasons, follow up frequently, at least for the same reasons, but most of us can cross-sell, meaning that we might have different products or services the same customer could buy. Maybe you could also do that, so there could be cross-selling opportunities, or upselling. We could sell them again or sell something of a higher value. So that's account management in a brief.
Something about the follow-up, especially with sales. Like you go to the store online, you buy something, they say subscribe to whatever, and get 10% off. Then you subscribe, and then they start sending this notification every other day. What is the logic in that? I would rather unsubscribe and receive them every second day. So who decided that that's a great idea? It's not one store that does it. They do it quite often.
The poor marketing team, because they have their own KPIs. They look at the emails being sent. Are they sending out enough emails? That's just a question of wrong KPIs, and that's a very typical problem once you start having those sort of cross-divisional functions in your business. So you have a marketing team, you have a sales team, you have a customer support team, and they all have different targets, different goals. So that's usually a very typical problem of that. So they're not looking. The only KPI that we should matter is like how much we're solving our customers' problems, how much revenue we're generating. But that marketing team, like someone's very proud. We sent out 100 emails this month, and that's a lot of emails. Great job. But that's just a wrong KPI. That's
clearly because they send enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even open them. I just kind of like mark them as red or something because they're like 15 of whatever. Even though it can be a good deal, but out of 15 or 30 that they send me, I'm not gonna find it there.
Yeah.
I'm
And
gonna remember that company.
Yeah, but then it should be like, in my opinion, it's sales job to send these deals. I mean, marketing would kind of support, but it's the sales who want to make the deal, right?
yeah.
Question.
Depending on the industry, again, if these are consumer, like stores, clothing stores, or
Yeah, those were the closings.
yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not for the person who gets annoyed and is going to like unsubscribe. It's for the person who is like a consistent follower of the brand, and regardless of whether that keeps like bombarding their like inbox, they still actually when the pop-up comes, they're like, oh, Cider sent me a thing. Let me check what they have. And then if they have like a 50% like sale, then they're like, okay, this interests me, and then they will follow like the funnel. But then oftentimes it's also used to kind of like see who is not active and why. It's also, there's like some sort of like marketing strategy or sales strategy there. So maybe at that point you're just not the person that they're looking for.
Yeah.
But there are many companies that do that, so clearly there is like a pattern. It's not like two stores decided let's send every second day an email.
And once again, that's a lot of us try to compete with others, and we try to follow the same dead horses way too often instead of like focusing on our brand and positioning and creating our own category where people would rather come to us or even widely be happy to receive 2 emails a day if we would have enough value to provide. All right. Thank you. This has been really great. We're doing amazing. I'm happy that I'm already at this point meeting time at this point at this hour. I was a bit nervous how you guys are going to receive all of this, but this has been a lot of fun. I'll leave the exercises to her and you can then do them, right? We're not going to have time to do them now. We're moving. What? Yeah, but I mean, I still have a lot of stuff to go through as well. Is that works? Yeah. Yeah, so we all have different businesses in this room. So what is our unique sales process? Where do we get the leads? How do we generate them? Are we heavy on content marketing? Where is our content being seen? Is social media our main channel? Which social media channels? Do we use demand capturing to get those leads in? Do we find them on the streets? How can we develop more leads? How are we unique from the competition? How does the prospecting process go? How do we find out that they have the problem we're here to solve, to make sure they have money? Where does the closing happen? We have an e-commerce function for our business. We send them an invoice. How often? How is the account management process? How many has this ready for your business? There's like a
Closing strategy or
the whole process.
all roles.
Like half a hand. What do you feel is like your strongest? Sounds like the lead generation and digital funnel part.
The whole direct response.
Yeah.
From the video sales ad to the landing page. That's like the strongest part. The creative.
How much do you need to spend time on account management? Are there any reclamations you need to worry about, or?
Yeah, I still haven't outsourced that part, so I'm just doing it manually myself. It's quite a hassle.
I think that's really good that you're doing it though. It's a lot easier to outsource things that you understand very well to buying something that you don't understand. You often get tricked. I've noticed myself. What do you think is going to be the hardest part to build out for your business? Are you worried about getting leads? Or who can need your law services?
Well, pretty much any adult will need a lawyer at least once in their life, but I'm doing my best to reach out to places where this kind of need would surface more often. So all kinds of business accelerators and also larger chains of law firms where they potentially like can take on a customer, but then they could give a tip that, hey, we have this partner who does this that can help you find someone. So to also that way help them like keep a good reputation and these kinds of people. Also banks and these kinds of places are places where people like call them up and say, hey, I need this, and they maybe can't offer the service because they're booked up or something.
So a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Any adult.
Yeah.
That I also have very mixed feelings about. Maybe you've also heard the advice of like niche down, like you need to find that one ideal customer target group and really focus all your efforts to them. I have mixed feelings about that. I do also like it worked out okay-ish, at least so far for me, that we would just do any sort of marketing and sales services for money. Anyone who needed anything, we would do it. And by a bit, we would then learn where we could provide value, what would be the problem in the market that we could have a unique positioning for. So obviously it depends, like if you have a heavy paid ad social media strategy, you're going to burn your cash pretty fast if you try to target everyone. So you need to choose some target markets. But going too strong on your hypothesis on your ideal customer profile, I also view dangerous, whereas like trying out, it's like dating maybe. So you want to marry the first person you're going to date with. Might work out, might be a really bad idea. Does that metaphor work? Yeah.
If I was trying to generate leads for a law firm, I would just look up the highest ranking SEO words that people are searching for on Google for legal troubles. Then I would try to get my SEO ranking above with some statement on that you're gonna solve this problem for the customer. And SEO typically takes a couple months for you to rank up higher, but once you get the ranking, it's worth it.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I've started posting like blog posts
Oh, that's great.
on our website to get it higher up in Google.
And that's great thing about Google often is too, especially I think when it would come to law services, that it's not something I would search for fun, but I would have a buying intent, right? So like I might Google Barbie movie for fun, but I'm not gonna search like before going to bed some law services for fun. So I think that's a great tip. And yeah, SEO, there are new laws coming next year, but probably not going to change that much for our normal lives in EU. So like once you get that rank up, it can stay there for a very long time and just generate new business for free. So that's really great. And once again, the positioning is very important. So you have a unique perspective, so it's easier to rank higher, but at the same time you still need to have a problem in the market. So that's a really sort of great democratic way of finding your place in the market actually. Okay, so now we have a process for our sales. We know how to get leads, we have some sort of an idea where to get them, how to qualify them into very potential customers, and then close them and even manage them, give them solid customer service. So even if they wouldn't buy more, they would give us a good referral, that very raw video testimonial. So how do we know we're making good progress? like with many things in life again, we need goals, we need milestones, we need key performance indicators. And nothing kills a good vibe like complex metrics that are too hard to follow and too hard to measure. So I recommend you focus on getting new business in. Is there a business that it's going to take you a longer time to get new business, or can you already get money from what you sell? Is your business something that I could give now money to or once you're planning to launch, you can already take money in? So then I think that should be your number one metric. Everything else is vanity metrics, really. You need those milestones. You need to understand how many leads you have. You need to understand the size of your pipeline. Is someone hearing the word pipeline for the first time here? I'll have a picture of it soon. So pipeline, yeah, where your leads are in, and then they move it, like swim through it. But I think the revenue, sales, if you want to split the revenue into two metrics, it could be number of customers, but mainly number of money. So those would be, but very clear, measurable goals. You can use SMART goal setting if you're keen on that. But how many leads, how they move through the pipeline, and how much money do they bring? And then grow from there. And number 4, it's not behind the chair. Constantly iterate, see what works. But I would keep it very, very simple in the beginning, especially. Do you have goals already? How much money you're going to make next year? Have you set your goals? Are they realistic, or are you aiming high? Do you want to push yourselves, or high realistic goals? Somewhere there. Someone who doesn't have goals for their business yet? Why is that? Is that just something this hasn't come up in the process yet, or?
Yeah, we haven't been ready to do that yet.
Any questions about goal setting, metrics?
Actually, yes. How would you, except for, of course, complicated and hard to understand, is there any other thing that you would look at that it makes like a bad metric? If there's something else you might want to follow except for money in?
Does it create value during the sales process? Emails being sent every month, for example. That might be a very easy, like the tools also blur this a lot, I see. Like we make good money building very complex dashboards these days because it's so easy to want all those metrics because they're so there. We swim in data, we say a lot. And it's so easy to get all these metrics from these different platforms that we all use. They're very beautiful and automated, and you have these interactive dashboards you can put on a TV. But often they just don't provide any value to the customer at any point. So it might be very clear how many social media followers you have, but it's that comes to me back to low quality versus high quality leads. Who are those followers? Are they going to bring any value to the business or not? Can be argued if we get into that detail that you might be more trustworthy looking if your target market, let's say it's on Instagram and you have 1 million followers. That is going to create trust for you. So there are some like value to it, but choose carefully still. the metrics you follow. And that's the next exercise for you guys. For the rest of you, choose easy. And we're all different. Some of us, we like goals that we can never reach to keep pushing. Some of us like goals we certainly can reach. So I think that's also important. Know the self. Choose goals that fit your personality. I mentioned in the beginning I worked for a Fortune 500 company, and it took me a year to understand that before the Q1 ended, we were like $1 million away from our goals. Someone thought, Joonas, you're never supposed to meet an American firm goal. That's just not how they set goals. And it took me a while to understand. All right, moving forward. So that's the entire process we've gone through. I worked on this slide a bit. Thank you for taking a picture of it. I'm not very satisfied. I had bigger vision for this slide. I wanted it to be more beautiful. Now it's like bullet points. My wife hates bullet points. She always gives me crap for my bullet points. But there it is, I think, still. So we start from the lead generation, content marketing, social media activities and strategies, paid and organic, networking and referrals. That's the way to go. Don't underestimate outreach. That's the way to personalize stuff. Then creating those leads, capturing, very cool, scaling, discovering, understanding the market, developing. Read that book, Play Bigger. It's going to change your life. And how those are then connected. With content marketing, SEO was a great pointing out. We can develop those leads that way. Social media can be used as an ongoing great way to constantly get those leads, as mentioned also with social media ads. And then networking referrals, that was my favorite part from account management, that we get those referrals. It's often been said in sales literature that as humans, we have the tendency that we want to tell good news to other people. So if I hear or experience something great or cool, newsworthy, I want to tell my friends about it. And I have proven it right, just asking your customers that, hey, do you have 3 friends or 3 business buddies who might also need my products or services? Oh, actually, I do. And they would have never told me without asking. So also the power of asking. That's why the account management process is very, very important. But I like the stage you're all in. So let's focus on bringing that revenue and focusing on customer experience maybe a bit after. Outreach is also really great to qualify that lead from the beginning, understanding if it's a good one. We're pushing through, not too many slides, guys. We can make this. Okay, does someone here have a CRM? Nope.
What is CRM?
Customer relationship management software, something that has been around for the ages, and then it wasn't very used anymore. Where do you manage your customer? Shopify directly, or yeah? So it has a customer management system built in. Shopify has a great one. Then I hear bigger e-commerce stores, they use ActiveCampaign a lot for that. So there are different options. Has someone heard from a software company called HubSpot? It's a big marketing automation company from Boston, USA. they have a really cool free CRM. That's why I pointed out. It's not the one we personally use for customer relationship management. It's not the one we recommend for more established businesses. But out of the free ones, it's absolutely the best. And I also recommend checking out HubSpot, HUB Spot, for a lot of lead generation, sales process, content, information. They are the original kings and queens of content marketing. So they pretty much came up with the concept. And their free CRM, like most of the customer relationship management systems, they operate in a Kanban board. So this is the pipeline view, traditional pipeline view. Leads, qualified leads, offers in, negotiations, closed, won or lost. So this is how businesses have managed customers from leads to accounts 30, 40 years now. So I think that's close to mandatory. Download the free HubSpot CRM. It doesn't cost anything. It'll give you a great visibility on the sales process. Not as good as this workshop, obviously, but pretty solid still. And HUB Spot. And you'll be able to have your metrics in there, so you don't need a separate Excel or Google Sheet. And I think the biggest magic of a good CRM system is that it collects all the customer information. So this can go very in depth, but basically all the communication you have with your leads are connected into one place. All the emails, even all the sales calls. So they often have, the paid HubSpot version has this then plugin that if you have customer management, account management, that all those phone calls, puhelun saatetaan nauhoittaa, jne. So those all go into the system. So once they pull in your contact card, they see all that information there. And now being doing this for myself that long, like I don't remember what I ate yesterday, so I can always go back to this system. I pull out the company card, person card, and find what's there. So it's really a single source of truth, which is a cool way to put it. And at best, then the CRMs, they work as for consumer businesses. Many of you were building that, so you might want to check out ActiveCampaign. It's a pretty cool one. It's not the most expensive one. Salesforce and Adobe are doing really cool ones too on that frontier. But you can have really cool even omni-channel automation systems where you manage all your social media activities, those beautiful newsletters that you like so much, all from one single platform, and everything is connected. And it's a really cool way to make businesses scale these days. So that I highly recommend, even if just checking out, I promise you learn a lot about the process from there. More bullet points. Start with the lead generation, take it to the sales process. It's all in the CRM system. And the CRM, what we're mostly interested in when we go more in depth in the CRM is understanding the really cool word right now for analyzing marketing and sales activities is attribution, how our accounts, our customers are listening to our podcast, watching our YouTube videos, and we can get all that data in there. That's not going to be the free version. But so understanding and then being able to qualify those leads. Is this lead right for us? From which channels do they come from? Doing automations, be it newsletter or just a task for yourself that you haven't heard back from this customer in a long time. They abandoned their shopping cart 7 days ago, send out a new email, activities, emails, meetings, and then the insights reports. All right. How to get your first, or in some of your cases, next 10 leads. I'm not sure if I was given this task, but this is sort of where I started doing this whole presentation from. You don't remember it either. But the thing is, pull out your phone, call your buddies, network. Also another Alex Hormozy tip right there. That's where you get your first 10 leads. Is there some of you who feel very confident you couldn't find your first 10 leads from your own network? I thought so. And answers. How many of these workshops have you had?
I think we've lost count at this point.
Okay. Are they always from 4 to 6?
Yeah.
Have others had breaks?
Some, but usually not.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Mm.
So I do music, I record and release music and try to get people to listen to it, and then I sell different kinds of gigs. So we have sold gigs for many years, and but I always do it on events where I network. But I would next step would be to be able to sell also online or make a pipeline that works, and really impressed what you said also by ads getting the approach, because right now I go to events and I network and then I sell gigs, but I would like to make it more automated.
Whose gigs do you sell?
My own, so different kinds of gigs, band or trio or solo.
But you are performing there.
Yeah.
Who do you sell the gigs to?
So it can be anyone who wants gigs. Weddings or business events where they need background jazz for networking stuff, or we even played with Danish Parliament once, and so anything.
Yeah. Have you noticed, are there sort of existing communities or networks that you could sell yourself through to find those, or is it easiest most profitable for you to sell yourself, right? So there's no middleman. Yeah. I think you're onto it. I would list events, hotels, and then just do it more of in sprint style. Choose, let's say, this time of the year, choose events and hotels and fairs, and then you could do outreach, because it would be a B2B service, so it would be very easy for you to copy paste that message to all the hotels in the region, all the fairs, and then springtime would start with wedding season and all of that. And then once again check out I think their media might be interesting. Now going a bit more into marketing, but I remember wedding magazines are pretty big, so if you could maybe get them cover you, do a bit of thing about how music for weddings is planned. But I would really approach it sprint style, so to say, because you could, as you said, sell gigs to anyone, then choose these different target markets and build very targeted, how are you going to solve their problems in a unique way. Why does a hotel ideally would recommend your services when someone comes in and offer it as a package?
And also about goals, so I'm in an interesting life situation, so I will move to New York for an internship for 1 year.
Right.
But I think I will try to improve my social media and make exciting content with that, because I'm also a bit afraid to miss my visa if I sell.
Oh.
In New York, so I think I will need to take 1 year break or do
But yeah, that would be great for brand building.
Yeah.
because I would imagine if I would be, when I was buying music for my wedding, like that's the first thing, like obviously like if I can't find your music, that's not going to be good. So and bigger the social presence, and here I don't think the social media followers would be the worst metric for your customer base to, oh look, she has so many followers, look at, like she must know what she's doing, and even the price is right.
Thank you. Really nice advice.
Okay, glad it helped.
What's your main source of revenue?
Gigs.
Do you get any from streaming?
I can't count it. No.
Because Spotify pays, was it like 0.003 something cents per stream?
And next year there will be some kind of limit. Was it 1,000 or a couple thousand you need to have at least before they even
Oh.
count? Yeah.
Because I have a friend who's gotten like, I think he has over 20 million streams now, and he gets quite an income from Spotify. And he blew up his music through TikTok organic mainly. People just started using his sound for different trends. It blew up first on, it was different like vehicles, like for example auto races or people doing wheelies with like, what's it called, motorbikes.
Yeah.
People started using his rap song in those type of videos, and then it just blew up. And that's how he got on the US top trending on Spotify and all that.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
If I was to release music and I wanted to make revenue from Spotify, I would just try like copying viral videos and just putting my music in the background. And if it works and it's scalable, I would outsource the process.
Good advice. Cool. Any other questions? Well, I thank you so much for your time. No one fell asleep. I'm happy.
Very interesting.
Oh, you're too kind.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's not bad, trust me. I've been.
You've seen worse.
I've been in other, well, I've headed other programs and in sessions that are maybe 1 hour, and people even during the day are still like, so this is not bad.
Not bad at all. Well, thank you so much. This was so much fun.
Thank you.
Thanks.